How do you feel the whole process of revealing the diagnosis and then dealing with that was managed in your case?
Not particularly well. I mean, it was very quick for me. I think I went on a Thursday for the initial mammogram. I had a biopsy. I think then we had to wait a week for the results, which was a very worrying week, and there's nothing you can do about that. And I was in a lot of anguish, as was my husband. I told my sister, I didn't tell my son, and I didn't tell my parents until I had a yay or nay. And once I had that, I told my parents, but I still didn't tell my son because he was away at university in his final year, and I didn't want this to upset his final outcome. So we kept it to ourselves. I did tell friends, but I did have a difficulty because they told me that initially it wasn't cancerous, and then I went back a few days later and they said it was, and I was wrecked. Then they uttered the words mastectomy, and I rebelled against this, and I said no, in this day and age there must be something else. And I think at that stage they said, well, we will do a wide excision and try and remove the cancer, which I had a day case for that in Glenfield, which was okay. But the telling me I had cancer was not, I think, particularly well done. It was I did sit with a nurse afterwards, but it was very, I was too upset. I was crying.
Now, clinicians are often trying to find the best way to do that, and of course it's a difficult situation. Yeah. But we very rarely ask patients, how do you think the process should be handled? And I just wonder if you have any view on that.
I think that the words, they're very big words. Cancer is a huge word, as is mastectomy to a woman. It's my DNA, and the thought of losing one of my breasts was just devastating. Even though it was going to take away a bad part of me, an illness. And I don't think the surgeon understood that quite. I mean, I was a case, and however sensitive, and I knew the surgeon, and however sensitive that could be, it was still a massive word to me, and it hit me between the eyes here. And I think the word cancer also is very large, and it hits you, and you can't stop that feeling of, oh goodness, this is life-threatening. And I didn't really, I don't know how else they could have told me though. I don't know how else they could have told me.
Did you have support there? You mentioned about the nurse.
The nurse, after I'd been given the initial diagnosis, one of the breast cancer nurses sat with me and my husband for a long time, possibly about 40 minutes, until I was able to stop crying and go out. And she did offer me a lot of information, but unfortunately I think I was so in a state of shock I couldn't take it in.
It's hard, isn't it, that stage?
Desperately.
To some extent they want to help as much as they can, but there's only so far you can be helped at that moment.
I think it's a mixture of feeling frightened, feeling very unsure about the future, but the overwhelming fear for me was this part of my body having this breast sliced off and waking up with a washboard, which I couldn't imagine, I couldn't contemplate. And then of course I knew that I'd lose my hair, and I wasn't particularly bothered about that. I couldn't care less.
Did you ever get a chance to speak to any other patients about what they'd been through?
I did, but not then, and I didn't really want to. I didn't really. If I can impress upon you, the urgency of this was there was little time to reflect.
Yeah.
I was just reacting.